What's up, everybody? It's Danny Green here, back with more Inside the Green Room. My guy and co-host Harrison Sanford. We're gonna tap into the first half of the season. We're at the top of the East right now. Got to tap into the great memories, the good moments before vacation. So let's tap into it.
We're back with more Inside the Green Room. Danny Green, I'm Harrison Sanford. It's been quite a minute since we got in front of the computer. Danny, I've watched you obviously play, but I haven't seen you in a while. What's going on, my guy?
Chilling, man. Yeah, y'all living the life out there in LA. I came to Philly. Y'all said, "Nah, I ain't going out there." But it's good to see you, my guy. Everything's going well. So we're top of the East right now. We got a little break. Looking forward to vacationing, and things are going smoothly. Obviously, we could have probably won a couple more. Would have been nice and have a little bit more comfort room, but I'll take it.
For sure. And maybe I will make some. I did come to Philly for that Laker game. I might make more trips to the East Coast.
Now that the fans are being let in, right?
Now that the fans are being let in, and I do want to talk about that, but I might just, I'm probably going to wait a little bit till March. And if you're an NBA fan, you probably know why you wait till March 25th this time around. We have to talk about that. It's necessity. Before we do that, and we'll talk about the Utah Jazz game that you guys won on Wednesday night. But first and foremost, my guy, now we've gone through some periods in this show where we've had a couple of nicknames for you.
For sure.
And the most recent one, the most popular one was 3 Rings. Danny 3 Rings, or Danny I got 3 rings, or Danny Mr. 3 Rings Green. Okay. So now I'm wondering, are you aiming for Danny Iron Man Green?
Oh, actually, that's always been my goal every year, to not miss any. But right now, I probably could use a day or two, a game or two. I think the break is much needed. I'll say that. Running on fumes lately, but the body's feeling good. Moving well. And me and Dwight, I said we played a long season last year, but we're probably, I think, the very few guys that have played every game this year. I don't know if Dwight missed any.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, so I think me and him, I think, are leading the way. So yeah, that's Thanos, and I guess I'll be Iron Man.
Yeah, so we got in 2018, 2019, that was 80 of 82 you played with the Raptors. Obviously went on to win the chip. Then last year with the Lakers, you played 68 of 71. And this year you've played all 35. So is that something that you want? Has Doc asked you if you wanted a day off? Have they mandated like anything like as it pertains to that?
We haven't discussed it. Obviously, I'm the type of guy that said I don't take a game off unless they come to me and tell me to take a game off. So any opportunity I get a chance to, obviously, I don't want to leave my guys out there, especially when it's low numbers. We had some COVID situations, but it was a learning experience for them, to teach them, also for me, and them to get opportunity, but also be around them, build some chemistry, and not leave them out to dry, and show some leadership. But at the same time, I said every opportunity is a chance for me to get better, also take on a challenge, a new challenge, or different challenge, and have fun, play the sport that I love to play, and, hopefully, have a good night. Sometimes it doesn't go as well. Sometimes it does. But yeah, I try not to miss any games when I'm healthy. I just one of those guys that unless Doc sits me aside and say, "Yo, I want to give you a game or two," I'm going to play.
And I think, for the most part, even if, again, I think as you've been on this team so far, and you know how important it is, sometimes the presence of a player on the court, even if he's not performing well, does very well for the team. You guys have, for example, you guys aren't shooting a lot of threes. So you're one of the bottom 5 teams in the league in 3-pointers attempted. But the fact that you're out there, that Seth is out there, that helps guys like Ben. That helps guys like Joel, and vice versa. It's a 2-way street. But again, yeah, you being out there allows for the functionality of the team to be a lot better than maybe it could have been.
Definitely. I think like you said, us being on the floor helps space the floor for them to operate. And it goes both ways. It allows us to get more open looks when those guys are on the floor. When we're missing a Tobias or a Seth or a Shake or anybody, whether it's first or second unit, it takes somebody has to pick up slack somewhere. It affects all of us some way, some shape or form differently, in a weird way sometimes. But yeah, I think for the most part for me, when our guys are out, or if I'm out, I said defensively, I think it'll affect us more than anything, because we have a lot of young guys and not used to talking and communicating as much. I think when I'm out there, I try to help guys hear each other or help them talk and converse. So from that aspect of it, that's one reason why I don't try to miss games or sit out any, so that I can help these younger guys learn and teach for the long run, the bigger picture, what we're going to need further down the line.
I want to talk about your performance so far this year, the team's performance in general. We'll definitely get into that. But before we do that and recap Wednesday night's game, best thing you're looking forward to when it comes to vacation? Is there a cheat meal you're looking forward to having? What is the one aspect of vacation that you can't wait to enjoy?
Not having practice or not being on the floor. I'll still work out, but working on the beach is a lot better than on, hardwood. So yeah, I'm gonna enjoy being in the sun. I'm gonna enjoy all the meals, and some of them will be cheat meals. I'll be enjoy just working out on, sand and not having to, shoot a basketball, pick up a basketball, guard somebody, chase somebody for 38, 40 minutes or whatever, it's 30 minutes, 28 minutes a game, and actually give my body a couple of days of rest and my mind mentally some rest so I can just, relax a little bit and then kind of reset when we come back.
When you come back, now it won't be a full Wells Fargo Center, but there are some fans that will be in the arena. I'm sure you're looking forward to getting some vibes inside the arena. You guys have performed well at Wells Fargo, despite not having fans this year. I believe 18-3. Can only imagine even though it's only 3,000, it's better than zero.
For sure. Any fans we can get. So tonight we had some. Just recently, Michael Blackson was there. There's a couple people, but it's a difference. Not a big difference, but you see that there's a little couple more new different faces out there, a couple sprinkled people here and there. But I think anything helps. Anything makes it more fun. This is why we play the game. We miss our fans. As I haven't had a chance to really experience the Philly fans as a Sixer yet, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I can't wait for when things get back to normal.
Are you guys, speaking of having fans in the arena, I think Joel said recently in a post-game interview that you guys do want the number one seed. Yes, you want to win every game, but are you factoring home court advantage really into the pursuit of being the best form of yourselves as a team? Or I don't know, because you're not going to get, I doubt we're going to get to the point where you could sell out the arena in the playoffs.
For sure.
So is the number one seed really that important to you guys?
It's not that important, but it's just a goal. I don't know if they've been number one seed. I don't know how long. So I said the goal is always to win every game on the floor and be the top in the league. So if we do get fans, cool, it's great. We have home court advantage. So, but it won't make a difference. But I think it's just an individual competitive goal for us to be, the best in our conference, the best in the league, the best in the East. Not just number one in the East. We want to be number one in the NBA. So that's something we're striving for day in and day out. And that's going to take some time, and we have to get better. We know how good we have to be to beat the top teams and also to be that team. So it's just an individual goal and not really focus on a home court, but just more so focus on ourselves.
You were talking about goals, and when we did our first episode of this season, by the way, we will be going all the way from this all the way to free agency. So we're going to be packing a lot more shows in the second half of the season when you get back from vacation. When you talked about goals, you said you want to have 3 All-Stars.
Yeah.
Remember that? You only got 2.
My guy got snubbed. I think we would have gotten it done if we would have won 3 or 4 more games. If we would have had dropped 3 or 4 more of those games, we would have gotten 3, I think. But I still think my guy deserved to be in there. He got snubbed. Tobias Harris, definitely one of our top, most consistent guys in our, has played most of the games too behind me and Dwight, and has put up great numbers this year. I just don't know who does the voting. Obviously, the fans don't vote for him enough, but I think he definitely deserved to be in there.
Could be one of those things where you have to have a standout postseason, and then you kind of get rewarded on the back end. Because yeah, Tobias has been playing well. He's been shooting very well. And Ben's having, especially this last month and a half, he's been playing really well. Joel's been MVP-like for the entirety of the season. With that being said, there's this new mantra it's not a new mantra, but it's become more pronounced over the past 2 weeks. So I'm going to put you on the spot.
All right.
You believe Tobias Harris should be an all-star, correct?
For sure.
There are some people who say you can't name somebody who should be an all-star without subtracting somebody who is an all-star.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying, you want to go ahead and name who should be on the all-star team?
I think that we should extend the roster to 15. That's one thing that should be changed right away. So we don't have to have these issues, these problems. But if we were to subtract, we can go to those teams that are not winning as much and guys that have not played as many games as Tobias has. And
You got names?
I've got names, but I'm not sharing them.
I
But
figured so.
they're all great, man. They all deserve to be there. Don't get me wrong. I just think some deserve to be there more than others. I think they need to expand the roster, and I think they don't take into account the winning as much as they should. So it was a shocker to me that Book wasn't on it originally until somebody got hurt. Sabonis wasn't on it originally until somebody got hurt. So and some of the guys that were on there have played maybe half the games, half the season. Or some of those guys got COVID twice, you know what I'm saying, or just were out for COVID reasons twice. But not saying they don't deserve to do that. They put up great numbers, but I think you take into account the number of games guys play, that they don't sit out, and how much their team is winning. And to see some of those guys get snubbed or not be on that list is shocking to me.
I think what makes it a bit more difficult this year, particularly in the Eastern Conference, there's so many teams. You win one game, you're the 4 seed, like the Knicks were just a couple of days ago. You lose one game, all of a sudden you're 11 seed. They're so jumbled up that it felt like a lot of teams should still have maybe one representative. That makes it a little bit difficult. There will be some Sixers fans who will say, out of all teams, the Celtics getting 2 was kind of out of line, but that's neither here nor there.
I did look at that too, and I thought that was I was a little surprised. But it said those are good players. They're great players.
They are very good players.
Have performed in the postseason prior, and get rewarded on back ends. So I get it. Obviously, people fighting about other teams that should have had one. Toronto, I think, haven't had one that they were like, we should have had at least one. Every team feels like they deserve to have one All-Star, and rightfully so. That's why they need to expand the roster.
I don't agree with that. I don't remember the MLB having.
Not every team need to have one, but they do need to expand the roster, so other guys should be in.
I disagree. I like it when people get snubbed. It makes it. These are all-stars. These are all-stars, but that's
even we got to. Guys will get snubbed. Trust me.
That is true. Before we go to break, I want your quick All-Star weekend predictions. Slam dunk competition. Obi Toppin, Anthony Simons, Cassius Stanley. Who wins the slam dunk?
I'm gonna go with a sleeper. I'm gonna go with Anthony Simons.
Okay, as long as you didn't pick Cassius Stanley as a UNC guy.
No. I mean, I think he's very athletic. I think he's good, but so I'm gonna go. I think Anthony Simons is an underrated sleeper in this contest, and I think he's gonna get that one.
Disappointed Zion didn't participate. That's neither there nor there. Neither here nor there. 3-point competition. Devin Booker, Jaylen Brown, Steph Curry, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum. Who wins?
I'm going with Book. I think Book has something to prove. I think he's won once before. Remember last time he was in it he might have been the one I competed in. But I think
Book, that Joe Harris one.
Yeah, he started heating up in that second half of the second part of the racks. But I think Book's gonna get this because I think he has something to prove.
Do you when you're on vacation? I doubt you're gonna watch these festivities. You probably will see the highlights.
For sure not. Yeah, definitely.
Do you have a little? I don't know if regret is the right word. Do you have a little nostalgia? Like, I want to get that. I want that get back one more time in the 3-point competition.
Yeah, but not right now.
Because you almost made it to the second round.
I should have made it second round. I should have made it to the second round. Yes, I do have that type of feeling, but not right now. Is that without fans, it's not as fun. During COVID times, with no real break last year, we only had 4 to 6 weeks off. I've had a vacation in about a year and a half, 2 years. I think I'll take my break instead of participating and being in Atlanta. But yeah, one of these years, I would definitely love to get back in and try to, take a shot at it.
Speaking of breaks, we're going to go to break right now. When we come back, we'll talk about the second half of the season. We'll recap that Jazz game. Danny will go over some of the high points of the year, take us behind the scenes a little bit as well. Stick with us Inside the Green Room with Danny Green.
Inside the Green Room is now on social media at Green Room Inside on Twitter and on Instagram at Inside Green Room. Make sure you follow us. Now back to the show.
We're back with more Inside the Green Room. That's Danny Green. I'm Harrison Sanford. We're recording this Wednesday evening, right after the Sixers potentially got their best win of the year against the Utah Jazz. If you look at the entirety of the season, you guys have played you played teams that are seen as top tier teams in the league. The Boston Celtics, maybe the Miami Heat, but even the first game against the Utah Jazz, these notable games, even the Denver Nuggets, a lot of these notable games or marquee games, there was health protocols, players couldn't play, or a guy was sitting. If I look at it in the entirety of this first half of the season, when it comes to top tier teams, it only feels like the Laker game and this most recent Jazz game were the two games where you played against a team with a top record that, and both teams were actually healthy. Where would you rank this Jazz win? Am I right in estimating that?
I
Or where
agree,
would you
man.
rank the Jazz
You're
win?
definitely right. I think the Lakers win. This one was the biggest one, but I think my favorite moments, as you were asking before, was probably the Lakers one with Tobias hitting a game winner. Them being the defending champs, top team in the West at the time. I think Utah took off after that. Us dropping a game to Cleveland, and this one, I said we're only half a game ahead of Brooklyn. This one being very important. Playing against the top team in the league was big. So I said my two favorite plays was probably the Tobias game winner, and then Joel and Bean sent us to overtime. So yeah, these are the biggest wins, the most important at this point, up until this point. And you've got to keep it going. The second half of the season is going to be that even much harder. It's going to be a stacked schedule against teams like that throughout the whole second half of the season.
So you're a vet. You know, when you were in San Antonio, when you were at the Raptors last year with the Lakers, when you played marquee games, I feel as if maybe you came away with, okay, this is what the team needs to do. This is what we need to work on. Do you feel like you're able to evaluate where you guys are as a team compared to as good as you could have in years past because of all these COVID protocols, injuries? You're not seeing the top teams at their best levels often.
For sure. I said it goes all around the league, man. Everybody's had it, everybody's going through it. But when we do have chances to have everybody healthy and fighting, I said it's a measuring tool. And those games, the game against the Lakers and the game that we just had tonight against Utah, lets us know where we need to be, what we need to do to be the best team or beat the best. And that's why it's so much fun. Win or lose, it's a learning experience. Obviously, we want to win and see where we are. And believe it, so most teams really walk away from that battle saying, you know what, we could beat that team or we're better than that team. But that's the fun part about it. And the playoffs, you got to beat them 4 times, and you have to have coaching. Somebody's gonna have a coaching strategy. So we believe we have the talent enough to do it. We have the pieces, and tonight, obviously, even though we won, we felt like we could have played better. We weren't even playing our best basketball. So yeah, it's a measuring tool, and I think we know what we have to do and where we have to be on top in the league and beat those teams, the top teams in the league.
Quick side note: the Jazz look like they are a headache to guard.
Oh, they're hooping, man. They find each other. They're trusting their system. All of them are unselfishly, sharing the ball. Nobody's pressing. They're all scoring comfortably. They're scoring within the system. They're not, having to force the issue. They find each other playing together. So yeah, you have to guard multiple actions, multiple rotations. I think we're capable of doing it. It's a dogfight every time you play them because they're gonna give you a hell of a run and they're gonna push the pace. So any team playing against them, you better get your running shoes on, be ready to rotate, and offensively you just gotta be smart. So we have a guy like Joel, MVP caliber player, and then he said Ben and Tobias taking over late in the fourth and in overtime. That helps a lot because it seemed like that it's going to be hard to keep them, especially the way they shoot the three, and keep them under wraps and keep them under 110 points.
I'm really having a lot of joy watching Ben Simmons this year because you could tell he's hell bent on shutting down players. He takes it with a level of seriousness that you often don't see in the regular season when it comes to defense. So I'm with it. Let's keep it moving here. What is your favorite off the court moment with the team so far? I know COVID's kind of shut things down. There's not a lot of visits to club or a bar or expansive dinner with the team, but there has to have been a moment that you sit back and laugh about. What is it?
I think just there's a lot of moments that we have on those.
You got to pick. They're not doing that this year, Danny.
I'm getting there, bro. Relax. So yeah, there's so many moments, man. I think we had a lot of good moments with the young guys, with the rookies. Early on, but I think we don't have that much time to bond, but we did have a couple times or a couple days in certain cities where we got a chance to actually regroup as a group and actually come together and relax a little bit. Obviously, we had our own private space where things were comfortable. In certain cities, there's only mainly 1 or 2 cities, but we got a chance to actually relax and see each other and hang out with each other in a lounge type area with just us. Where everybody's tested, everybody's comfortable, we're not supposed to be, had our mask on, stayed, distance apart, but It was cool to just relax and kick it with each other, even when it's in a hotel, even if we do small things. We'll be in Tampa. We'll look for scooters to try to ride around the city. So small things like that. We try to get a boat day. The team offer us a pool day. They let the pool open for us. So they do try to do small things where we get a chance to bond in a safe atmosphere where we're not breaking protocol.
One of those moments could have been getting your championship ring from the Toronto Raptors, or rather yet the Tampa Bay Raptors, however people want to say it. But you did not get it, and I've been campaigning for you to wait. I know you didn't want to wait, but from my understanding, the Raptors just forgot your ring to bring it with them to Florida.
I wouldn't say they forgot. They kept it there because they felt it was the best way to do it. They said, if we want to do it in Toronto, I said, fair enough. I waited this long. It's nothing to wait even a little longer. So it was cool. We discussed it. Obviously, they don't feel like it's home for them in Tampa just yet, because at times they play other teams from Florida that the fans there had cheered for the other team and not them. So they want to do it the right way. I said, I would love to do it that way. I respect it. It's cool, but no big deal. Obviously, you thought I should wait. So,
I spoke to some people in the know.
You made it happen.
Yeah, I made it happen on the back end. Okay, so with that being said, what we like to do on this show is talk about things that you and I know basketball relatively well, but there's a community that talks about other things that maybe you and I don't talk about until it becomes popular enough. So one thing that has become popular enough on NBA Twitter, specifically Sixers Twitter, Raptors Twitter, was a potential trade where your name was involved. It had to do with Kyle Lowry. At some point, you must have seen it because it got too popular. How did you take it, and what are your thoughts on it?
I think Kalo is a great teammate, great player. I think he'd be a great addition to any team. And when I saw it, I thought, if he can come here and I could stay, amazing, play with him again. But I also saw that if he had to come here, then I would go. And I'd be like, damn. So, it's just rumors, talk here and there. I don't believe anything until anything comes into or comes across my desk as, from my agent or from the front office. But yeah, I said, I obviously love playing for every team that I played for so far. We've had a great season. I think we have a good team and great pieces. I'll say it's up to them. I don't think still time for before the deadline, right? Before they can make a move. So
March 25th, I believe it is.
So they have time. If the front office feels like they can make the team better by doing that, I obviously love playing in Toronto, even though not playing in Toronto right now. But I know that organization. So if it happens, so be it, man. I'll make the best of whatever situation I'm in.
When you've been on other teams, when you're in San Antonio, when you were in the Raptors, you probably wouldn't have done it because you only had 1 year left anyway. But even when you were in the Lakers, do you ever ask your agent? Do you ever think about talking to the general manager, like, hey, listen, if you want to move me, let me know? Or do you kind of just go about your business? If it happens, it happens. I feel as if with your standing in the league, being a veteran, maybe you have a little bit more clout to kind of have those conversations. Do you try to, or do you just kind of lock in? I'm here getting my work done. I'll deal with it if I have to.
I just go on about my business, man. But if they come to me and say, like, look, this is what's going on, this is what happened, that's upon them. And obviously they ask for my input, I'll give it. Like if you're gonna move me, I'd rather be moved here or here, that situation. But a lot of times I just go about my business and handle the situation as it comes. I'll cross that, worry about that when we cross that bridge. So I don't inquire anything. I don't suggest anything. I just wait till it happens. I keep doing my work, and until something else changes, then I'm gonna keep staying locked in and focused on what the task is at hand here.
And speaking of the work that you've been putting in so far this season, so to begin the year, I think you were a little bit below NBA average when it comes to shooting the three. As of I think after the first maybe 5 or 7 games, now you're shooting. If we eliminated the first 5 or so games or first 8 games, you're shooting over 40% from three. How would you evaluate how you've played so far this year?
Pretty decent, man. At times, I would say, B-. At times I'll say C+. Obviously it all depends on how the feel is. But I'll take a 1 for 5 night to win by 20. Like the other night we won against Indiana. Tonight we got to win. I didn't shoot well, but it's more so about making them understand the bigger picture of how we need to play. But obviously, you want to have better shooting nights. So those first couple games, it took me a while to get going, get into the system. Obviously, I was playing. They had me on like minute restriction type thing. Still learning, I said, each other, the guys around me, finding our rhythm. So yeah, it was hard for me to kind of get a rhythm. But once we got settled in, things started going smoother. Things started getting better, and we started having more confidence in each other. And I got a good rhythm. So hopefully that continues. So hopefully we keep it going. But yeah, man, I said I think so far we've been doing decently at B minus type so far. I would definitely want to bump it up to at least a B plus A minus. Defensively, it could be somewhat better, but still working on it. So we're still working on our rotations, communications, and playing with each other. So we all can help each other be better individually.
I think one thing that I'm noticing different from last year, you are attempting more dribble in threes. You're not having as much success as you did last year with the pump fake three as you did. And then I think the one big difference that I'm noticing with your game this year, at least when it comes to offense, is, and this is no shade towards Joel or Dwight, because even you don't play too many minutes with Dwight for the most part. Like when you were in LA, let's say you get in the paint, that AD JaVale lob was an option. If you get into the paint, you don't know, like if you're trying to figure out what am I going to do here, throw it up there, they're going to get it. Joel is a great player, MVP, in my opinion, clear leader for MVP, but he's not really, you're not throwing it at the top of the backboard with him.
He's capable of catching lobs, but it's not something he prefers to do. He's more of off the bounce pocket pass type of guy. I said with those lob threats, so I do play with Dwight. It makes it easier for me to get the floater because then they have to drop back off. But now with Joel, I said figuring out how to find what he wants. Come up with either DHO and find him the post or pocket pass so he gets a short jumper. Said very rarely does he look to the sky and say point up. He rather saying work on his area. His Malone spot and his footwork. And said just get a pocket pass and then work on his own from there. So it took some time for us to all learn each other. Now I know where he likes the ball, where he likes his spots, and work from there. Said it's just an adjustment. There's not much more downhill lobs and floaters, and more going to be pull up or pocket pass for Joe.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that will only come with time. And in this weird ass year, you're not getting a lot of practice time. You're not. It's all the way confusing and out of pocket in general. But looking forward to the second half of the season. I am very much excited to see where things go. And as you mentioned, Joel, I won't do it to you, but I'm going to prepare you for something that's going to happen.
Okay.
So in your past spots, like for example, when you were with the Lakers, you knew what question you were going to get at some point if you did some media availability on a national scale. Because you know how it goes, Daddy. They don't ask you about you. They ask you about your teammates. So let's say, who's better, LeBron or Kawhi? To put you in a very difficult position, what are you going to say? Like, you want to say, like last year you're playing with LeBron. So like, yeah, LeBron's great. I'm not, no disrespect to Kawhi. And then when you're in Toronto, you're like, well, yeah. Or San Antonio, like, yeah, Kawhi's my guy. LeBron's great, but I'm with Kawhi. You know what's going to happen. At a certain point, they're going to say, who's better, Joel Embiid or Anthony Davis? You know what's coming.
I'm ready for it. I'm prepared. I'm gonna give them the same answers I give you. It's gonna be very vague. It's gonna be not a real answer, and I'm gonna give both my guys credits because those are both my brothers. So
for sure. I will say this though. I am enjoying Embiid. There is a certain level of he obviously has touch, he has feel, but he just also plays with a certain level of force that makes it very
hard,
exciting to watch.
And very hard to pick anybody else over him offensively.
Yeah, he's a monster. He dominates the pace he could dominate the pace of the game. So what he did to Gobert tonight. Gonna let you enjoy your vacation now, though. We'll be back when Danny gets back, and we'll look forward to a second half of the season for potentially another extended playoff run.